This is the type of that makes even someone like myself, who is a heavy scrutinizer of conspiratorial narratives, even though I am obviously an enjoyer of conspiracies, I'm very critical of conspiratorial thinking. But when I see stuff like this, and then I see the media refuse to cover it, or the media just like never entertain this stuff, I think to myself, okay, what are we doing here? Like, am I becoming increasingly crazy? Why is there not enough coverage on this stuff? What the hell is going on? All right, let's talk about why it's increasingly more difficult to feel patriotic about America now that we're on that subject.
Another November day outside the U.S. Capitol. Inside, there was business unusual.
This just doesn't make sense.
A big story just got bigger, with fresh revelations on the Epstein affair. Yet more notes on a scandal. Yet again, they cite the president in Jeffrey Epstein emails released by the House Oversight Committee. One from 2011 to his co-accused Ghislaine Maxwell reads, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. A victim named Redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell replied, "I have been thinking about that." Epstein emailed the writer Michael Wolff.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein to U.S. Special Envoy to Syria. You guys know who he is. He's the one who was like, yeah, Hezbollah has no incentive to disarm, but what the fuck can they do about it? We will destroy them. Borders are meaningless. What is important is what Israel wants in terms of borders. Like, this is what the fucking Special Envoy to Syria and Lebanon, Tom Barak, was saying over and over again. Anyway, here's a email between Jeffrey Epstein and Special Envoy Donald Trump's U.S. Special Envoy to Syria, Tom Barak. Jeffrey Epstein, in 2016, sends an email to Tom Barak saying, "Send photos of you and child. Make me smile." To which Felix says, well, yes, this does seem nauseating, but it's not like Trump has this guy working on places that have outsized amounts of orphans and other children that cannot be accounted for. This is the type of that makes even someone like myself, who is a heavy scrutinizer of conspiratorial narratives, even though I am obviously an enjoyer of conspiracies, I'm very critical of conspiratorial thinking. But when I see stuff like this, and then I see the media refuse to cover it, or the media just like never entertain this stuff, I think to myself, okay, what are we doing here? Like, am I becoming increasingly crazy? Why is there not enough coverage on this stuff? What the hell is going on? Especially because it's not like the media is fond of Donald Trump. This is a great line of attack for Donald Trump. You know, a uniquely unpopular and despotic leader that is moving America in the direction of fascism. What the f is the New York Times not all over the shit? You know? Yeah, this was full audio of Trump saying he broke ties with Epstein after he poached young women from Mar-a-Lago. In this clip, Trump casually admits the witness underage trafficking and not reporting it to the authorities. 2, stopping in the middle of said underage trafficking testimony to promote his spa at Mar-a-Lago, where said underage trafficking occurred. And then there's an update from Adam Johnson from an hour ago in this email, this tranche of emails that was released by the Democrats. In another email, Epstein refers to Trump almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool. He was so focused, he walked straight into the door. Yeah, like a cartoon. Like a cartoonish fat guy floating over time and space, going towards a scent trail, floating whimsically in the direction of a pie on a windowsill. One of the craziest parts about this is that hey, Jeffrey Epstein, for all my dyslexics out there, Jeffrey Epstein became the most prolific trafficker. Not saying that you can enter that field, but if you're dyslexic, you shouldn't let that get in the way of your ambitions and dreams, you know, whatever they might be. Hopefully they're not a criminal espionage enterprise for an apartheid state, of course. But look at the way he writes, dude. Jesus Christ. Read the feed, read my airplane logs, and Hawaiian Tropic Contest. He said Hawaiian. Have them ask my houseman about Donad almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door. Donad. Now everyone coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump. Thomas Landon Jr. wrote, because of this, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. That story will never die, says Landon Thomas Jr., financial reporter for the New York Times. This is in 2015, by the way. And more emails are coming out right now. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Blow after blow after blow. Oh, hell yeah. Daniel Boguslaw, investigative reporter for the Rolling Stone, Vice, Intercept, writes, Epstein writes to his lawyer, have one of your cronies. Oh, God, I can't. I feel like he's giving me a aneurysm trying to read his dyslexic ass, bro. No disrespect to the dyslexics in the chat, but God damn. I guess he just maxed out on the espionage stuff, and he was min-maxing. He just could not write. Let's zoom in on this. This is Jeffrey Epstein, 2012, to Reed Weingarten. Have one of your cronies ask to see the mortgage to Mar-a-Lago, cash from Electricinia's union. His driver, Matt, was the bagman, later made an exec at the Public Co., and the $30 million loan from the casino to Donald Trump backdated. One of the other things that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, aside from being a trafficker of minors, was that he was also a prolific writer, despite the fact that he can't write at all. He is functionally illiterate and very dyslexic. But that didn't stop him from sending emails from his Jeffrey Epstein vacation at gmail.com account. And he was literally corresponding with Ehud Barak, with influential reporters, heads of state, other heads of state, you know, and of course, numerous American officials. And he just kept emailing over and over again. Now, the reason why we have all of these emails is not because the Democrats released it, but like part of the reason why we have a lot of these emails is because they hacked his. I think it might have been Iran potentially. That was the suspicion, but somebody basically hacked the Jeffrey Epstein vacation at gmail.com email account and uploaded all of that. And that's where a lot of this drop site reporting has been coming from. But now that it was actually, I think it was Iran. But now that it's actually something that the Democrats are paying close attention to, we shall see what happens. This will become more and more, like all of this stuff, all of these emails, all this stuff will, I think, become more important in the normie sphere. Handala, Iranian hackers. It was Iran, right? All right. I'm serious, man. For the good of the nation, why not try to get some of this out there? I would not do it myself, but would pass on to a political reporter. Plus, look at these lies. In response to a message left seeking the Trump campaign's comment on this article on Thursday, Trump's general counsel, Alan Garden, emailed threatening legal action against BuzzFeed News. Mr. Trump's only connection with Mr. Epstein was that Mr. Epstein was one of thousands of people who has visited Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Mr. Trump has never been accused of having any involvement or even having any knowledge of Mr. Epstein's conduct by anyone, Garden wrote. As a result, I have no idea what the purpose of your article could possibly be other than to try and intentionally and with actual malice defame my client's name and reputation by mentioning him. This is what Jeffrey Epstein responded to, right? He said, he sent this article, and he said, my 20-year-old girlfriend in 93, that after 2 years, I gave to Donald. Hawaiian Tropic Girl, Lauren Petrella. Yes, would you like photo of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? Now everyone coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump. But what will happen after these jobs? Like nothing, right? I mean, dude, what are we doing? Are you kidding me? What the are we doing? He called Donald Ladd dirty, bro. Wait, what? Most prolific trafficker of all time calling you dirty? Goodness gracious. Jeffrey Epstein in 2018 said, I know how dirty Donald is. You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. It makes no difference whether it was his money, issue his failure to disclose, plus the fact that he lied his ass off about it makes it clear that he knew it was illegal. This is regarding New York Times, Donald Trump's high crimes and misdemeanors to Kathy Remler. I think he makes the argument that it was his, Trump's money, making it not illegal, though he also said he only found out afterwards. And the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his account has flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Starr yesterday regarding indictments, how Trump can make a deal. Special counsel, Clinton's trash can. Yes, Starr gave me more. Yuck. Here's a story from the New York Times that I thought you'd find interesting. The principled case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage. That's so fun. It's top to bottom, I know. Sorry. Read like a Twitter post, brother. Bottom up. Yeah. This is so strange. It's so strange. Well, 2 reasons why Jeffrey Epstein can't type normally. Because he's dead. And I think a lot of this information coming out makes people go, if I recall correctly, he did die under the custody of the state under the Trump administration. How strange. He did die in the custody of the state under the Trump administration. I know conservatives are not the smartest people. They lack object permanence, and they think that the initial shutdowns during COVID actually happened under Biden, even though it literally happened under Donald Trump. Or January 6th also happened under Donald Trump, not under Biden. It wasn't Biden's FBI that was doing it. It was Donald Trump's FBI that was doing it, even if you were to blame FBI for January 6th. I know conservatives forget that kind of stuff because it just doesn't fit in their dense skulls. But Jeffrey Epstein did die in the custody of the state under the Trump administration. Okay? So this level of connection to Donald Trump and his willingness to talk about Donald Trump being a dirty, dangerous person, all this stuff, and the level of connection that he had to Donald Trump in general calls into question, once again, how Jeffrey Epstein died. I mean, I never entertained the suicide theory in general. I think it's stupid. But, yeah, I did see all of this. All I'm saying is, I didn't see this one. To Peter Thiel, that was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Bro, they are in full flail at Fox. The reply of the 5 wouldn't even say Epstein's name. Want to see what it looks like when Fox News devotes an entire segment to the new Epstein emails to discuss Trump without anyone ever mentioning what they say?
Caroline Leavitt fielded questions about the release of those emails from House Democrats related to President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, calling it a manufactured hoax. That was moments ago at the White House. Our senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy was in that briefing and joins us now.
Totally.
Hi, Peter.
Just a hoax,
and
man.
Sandra, the argument from officials here that was made by Caroline Leavitt in the briefing room a few minutes ago is that there's a tell that shows that these Epstein emails being released today is a partisan exercise by congressional Democrats. This is how she came to that conclusion.
are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans.
And just a few minutes after Caroline Leavitt went back in.
Interesting. Are the emails leaked or are they fake news? No, the emails are not fake news. Reporting on the government briefing instead of the news, and they have the audacity to call out China for not having freedom of press. I mean, yeah, it's just... Remember, these are privately owned media companies, so it's different. It's not different. Every government does this, okay? Every single government does this. The American government does this. Every government does this. In Fox News' 4 p.m. hour, the network finally tells viewers about the dog that hasn't barked email. Still no mention of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
All right, more, by the way, from Capitol Hill today. House Democrats releasing new Epstein emails, some of them referencing President Trump. The White House is pushing back on those emails and how the media is portraying them. Fox News senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has the latest.
Peter Doocy.
And, Will, officials here at the Trump White House, of course, would rather talk about their efforts to get the government reopened, something they hope happens later on today. But instead of just talking about that, they are also talking about these newly released emails, including this one from 2011. It is Jeffrey Epstein emailing his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. This one says, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, redacted name, spent hours at my house with him, has never once been mentioned. Officials here, though, are puzzled about why Democrats redacted the name of a victim, since that victim wrote a whole book about all this.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a... And this email you refer to with...
Is that what happened? I don't know. Can't believe they actually quoted it on Fox News. The dog that hasn't barked means very suspicious, similar to the elephant in the room for those, for anyone who hasn't heard that before. Breaking the New York Times reporting that Trump personally called Republican Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace to try to get them to remove their signatures from the Epstein files discharge petition. Mace didn't pick up, and Boebert reportedly doesn't plan on removing her name. Dude, if the conspiracy stuff is the only earnest expression of populism that these guys will actually lean into, and this yields actual information, I will take it, okay? It is a real dog that caught the car moment for the Republican Party that leaned into this stuff for years and years, only to be hoisted by their own petard. I don't think Nancy Mace is going to stand firmly here. I don't think Nancy Mace is a careerist. She's an operator. Sorry, and I don't think that Nancy Mace is going to. I think Nancy Mace could flip. Nancy Mace, I'm so sick of the fake news focusing on Trump and not Epstein victims. Mr. President, fret not. The cavalry has arrived. Representative Woe Vicky is about to save your administration by sprinting to the nearest press scrum and screaming, why won't y'all stop lampshading me? Everyone knows Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and Epstein victims have exonerated the president. Stop gaslighting and start telling the victim stories. Makes me sick. Those who raise girls need to see jail time. Tell that story. Yeah. Trump ramps up pressure on GOP to thwart Epstein vote. This is why I never consider the Epstein stuff to be a distraction from the other ambitions of the administration, right? Because this is the story. If we're being real, this is the thing that Trump doesn't want out there. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that his base does respond to. It's one of those things that like the more populist figures in the administration can't actually cast aside so easily. Partially because they ate off of this. For the longest time, this was the meta because they could tie Jeffrey Epstein to the Democrats, which, by the way, he's still very much tied to the Democrats as well. Do not make that mistake. Okay. All that doesn't matter anymore. She signed and you can't take your name off when it hits 218. Discharge petition is on days a few feet away from where Adelita Grijalva will speak. She's sworn in now, and once she finishes her opening speech, she can become the 218th to sign. No sign of any R that might take their signature off. That's that. She signed number 218. Immediately after she signed and the discharge hit 218, Massey and Ro Khanna convened a strategy session with Whip Clark, the top Dem on rules, McGovern, a few senior staff, and other Dems right in the well of the House. My understanding is that the relentless pressure campaign, this is from the congressional correspondent of the New York Times, Annie Carney. My understanding is that the relentless pressure campaign that has included carrot, stick, good cop, bad cop has made her even more dug in, suspicious, and convinced there's a conspiracy at play. I asked Lauren Boebert about September 16th if there was any way she would take her name off the Jeffrey Epstein discharge petition. No, she told me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Reese Gorman, politics reporter for Not Us, says Trump and his team only have until 2 more hours to get one Republican to take their name off the Epstein discharge petition. Once Grijalva is sworn in at 4, she can sign the petition and the names are frozen. No one can remove their names after she becomes the 218th signer. And that was already 5 hours ago. So it already happened, right? Trump called Boebert and is playing phone tag with Mace right now, per a source. So this already happened. They gave her 207 Trump hats. I'm not kidding when I say this. Since the vote is happening next week, Speaker Johnson says Jeffrey Epstein bill will be on the floor next week. We're going to put that on the floor for a full vote when we get back next week. He told reporters he's going to like nuke Caracas or something. The only honest expression of politics for the Trump administration has been his own personal ambitions in deal making. What I mean by this is the only time we have seen any sort of positive results from this administration has been in the direction of his son-in-law Jared Kushner and Donald Trump making money off of Gulf leadership and Gulf states and implementing development projects, right? And on the other side, within the base, within the caucuses of the Republican Party, the only earnest expression of politics is mania, conspiratorial mania. It's so crazy. There is no real like political ideology that motivates these people. Politicians are ambitious. Politicians are insincere. They're indecent. And they oftentimes will play ball. They will manage your expectations. They'll subvert. They'll change their attitude on things. We see this on the Democratic Party side all the time, right? But there is some sincerity, I think. And this is one of those things. I can't believe it. The most sincere demonstration of a politician doing something that might actually hurt their standing within the party infrastructure, no matter how careerist they may be, is, on the right at least, conspiratorial thinking. They cranked up the cranks for far too long. And now, while they were reliable votes here and there, the cranks are actually fighting back. Because this is, for the cranks, a real issue of consequence, something that they do care about. I think. I hope I'm not being too hopeful here. Once again, You don't normally hear me say stuff like this. I usually say, things won't change. I'm usually in the camp of like, especially when it comes to stuff like this, nothing ever happens. But I do feel like this is one of those issues where people are just like, no, I want to know what it is. Maybe it's because they are maybe it's because they're suspicious, or maybe it's because they are genuinely invested for one reason or another. But, maybe they want to blow the lid off this corruption thing. Who knows? But it is quite remarkable that they've been steadfast in their approach to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It's one of the few instances where you see like these right-wing freaks actually continue in spite of the pressure coming from Trump.
The name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Guffrey. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Guffrey maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her.
House Oversight Republicans are saying Democrats continue to carelessly cherry-pick documents to generate clickbait that is not grounded in the facts. The Epstein estate has produced over 20,000 pages of documents on Thursday, yet Democrats are once again intentionally withholding records that name Democrat officials. Democrats should stop politicizing this investigation and focus on delivering transparency, accountability, and justice.
Trump has been saying the Dems are distracting from the shutdown cave. I mean, there is some truth to that, but I don't give a f, and I don't think the people give a f either. This is one of those moments where it's like the priority for the average person is to know the truth. The priority for the average person is to find out exactly what level of involvement Donald Trump and American politicians and international leaders had with Jeffrey Epstein, what the client list looks like. That is the priority for people. It doesn't matter. Trump could be like, oh, this is just a distraction, which is interesting because that's like kind of a Democratic Party line of attack. Oh, don't look at this like very interesting thing that you have a lot of investment in and just remind yourself that it's actually bad to look at it because it's just simply a distraction. Because, like, look at this. Look, September 4th, 2021. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest, most powerful people were connected to a guy that ran a literal trafficking ring, and then that guy died mysteriously in a jail, and now we just don't talk about it? And it's like, brother, he is directly connected to the guy you're the blood boy of, Peter Thiel. And you are already Peter Thiel's blood boy at this point. Why the f are you talking like this? Do you see what I mean? This is beyond eating crow, you know? Elon deleted these tweets, but the internet is forever, and it's a good day to dig them up. Time to drop the really big bomb. Yeah. That is the real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is a real reason why they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Mark this post for the future. I think this was a turning point, too. I'm going to be honest. This was certainly a turning point. He got too mad. Big egos in the same room. He got too mad, and he basically betrayed himself and the capitalist elite by burning one of the known vestiges of espionage that both parties and all the financial elites have relied on or have worked with, just to attack Donald Trump in his weakest moment. And the irony here for Elon Musk is that he is also an Epstein affiliate. Not directly. There's not a lot of evidence for that, but indirectly by way of his brother, Kimball Musk. Kimball Musk is literally all up Jeffrey Epstein's. Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, is directly connected to Jeffrey Epstein. He was dating one of the Jeffrey Epstein girls, to use, I mean, it sounds like a disgusting term to say, but like one of the models that frequented Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion. Kimball Musk was in the New York mansion. It's like crazy that he basically cooked his own family. Trump on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff a couple hours ago, by the way. Here it is. I have it right here. The Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. Oh, is shit about to hit the fan? I mean, Trump is moving like it is. Trump is moving like it is. They're calling it the least suspicious pressure campaign of all time. Trump ramps up pressure on GOP to thwart Epstein vote. The interesting part about this is that, like, the administration is entirely compromised on this stuff. So if people question the allegiances that Donald Trump had with Jeffrey Epstein, right, and they are currently, what's interesting about this is that they will also question J.D. Vance, who is Peter Thiel's guy, right? Peter Thiel is the billionaire that basically put J.D. Vance into the seat of power. Okay, you are traveling, so I'm inclined to believe this is it. That's true. I do have that tendency when I'm flying around. I mean, one day I literally flew for one day. The Democrats ended up unceremoniously caving on the shutdown. Epstein was arrested 33 days after supposedly meeting with Trump and Prince Andrew in London in 2019 from the oversight Dems near the top of the document. So why is this not being reported on? I just don't understand. Like, this part of the story is incredibly consequential. This is... Oh my God. Late edition of Trump's schedule tonight. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait a minute. President signs Senate amendment to H.R. 5371, continuing appropriations, AG leg branch. Wait. I don't think he's going on camera for this. I'm going to be honest. Am I crazy? Does it feel like this is more so to like address some of the stuff? Because he's going to be in front of it feels like he's going to be in front of a press briefing. I mean, it's White House press pool. We know what that means. They're going to ask him this question in the most favorable way possible. Right? This was also another moment. The Landon Thomas Jr. thing is actually very suspicious because Landon Thomas Jr. is a New York Times journalist. Why is a New York Times journalist tipping Epstein off about a follow-up investigation by journalist and former NYPD detective John Connolly? Importance, high. Thomas Landon Jr., who is a financial reporter for the New York Times, is sending an email to Jeffrey Epstein with the subject, got another call from John Connolly. Yeah? What is this? Dean Withers tweet about Trump meeting in London. Okay, that's Dean Withers' tweet. Dean Withers is like me tweeting about it. Okay? Or even less consequential. Why is the New York Times not reporting about it? But what's also confusing about this info that came out is partially because maybe because of stuff like this. This is a New York Times financial reporter. This is a New York Times financial reporter tipping off Jeffrey Epstein about people doing research into him. He's digging around again. Not clear if it's another book or expanded paperback version. Was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. I told him I had no idea. I think he's doing some Trump-related digging too. Anyway, for what it's worth. He sent this article, this reference, said, keep getting calls from this guy doing a book on you, John Connolly. This is the first one. Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, Trump going to Howard Lutnick's house on Thursday. Howard Lutnick was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor in New York City. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, he could have known. He could have known this because he's their neighbors. Donald Trump and Prince Andrew met up in London ahead of Jeffrey Epstein's arrest on new trafficking charges. Wait, what? Trump and Prince, two of Epstein's most famous friends, appeared in photo ops during the president's UK visit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Lemon Brother, did you trigger the prophecy intentionally? The ancestor spirit of world history since you left the country and all of this bubbled to the surface immediately? Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew and Trump today. Too funny. Recall Prince Andrew's accuser came out of Mar-a-Lago. Steve Bannon, can't believe nobody's making you the connective tissue? Brother, were they just saying everything out loud in these emails? What the is going on? I'm going crazy. It feels like... No, we knew Steve Bannon was connected to Jeffrey Epstein. That's another Trump administration loyalist that is deeply connected with Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, Steve Bannon actually went to Jeffrey Epstein and was training him for a potential deposition. And once outed that he was deeply connected to Jeffrey Epstein, he turned around and was like, oh, I was just filming him because I was going to do a negative documentary about Jeffrey Epstein. That never was released, by the way. Weirdly enough, he has hours and hours and hours of footage of Jeffrey Epstein and himself, and yet he never revealed that footage. And I don't believe he will ever reveal the full footage, obviously. Like, it'll be heavily manipulated. I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know how to perceive all of this. Sender, Steve Bannon. Red, yes. Is invitation, no. Message, can't believe nobody is making you the connective tissue. Sender, iTunes, gmail.com. FNB only. Sender, Steve Bannon. What? What is that? Message, Prince Andrew and Trump today. Too funny. I think these are chat messages for the record. Well, if he's subpoenaed by Congress, he'll have to give it up. He's already been in prison once for failing to appear. I don't know how Trump is going to actually protect himself and everyone around him that is so deeply connected to Jeffrey Epstein. The previous reporting on this from Mercury News and Boston Globe and all of these other outlets does not actually feature Epstein being connected. Like, none of them until this moment have revealed that Jeffrey Epstein was a part of this meeting. This is new information. If true, there's an absolute nuke. It proves that Trump's involvement with Epstein went far beyond. I'm not going to say 2012. What we knew about, and that Epstein was arrested shortly after this meeting and then died under the custody of the state in the Trump administration.